It's time to help educate you, fresh casters out there, and people who are listening into what we do as commentators. It's the third episode of Casters Guides, and I'm going to focus mainly on one topic today, and that is Analyst Hype. Now, you probably don't think an analyst will actually hype something, but you will probably be mistaken. There are some guys that do this really, really well, and they're the ones who I've actually held up as idols to try and follow. Tasteless and Narcosis for me are still the greatest in actually doing what I class as analyst hype, and that's because they both kind of take on the role of both analyst as well as play-by-play, even though you'd say Tasteless is more of the play-by-play. But it's Artosis who just gels everything together, and this is what you're able to do when you develop such a high level of synergy with your co-caster, where it means that you know what they're going to say before they kind of say it. Your humor is kind of in sync, and everything just works. But I'm not expecting you to get to that point straight away, so here is a basic thing, a basic tip. If you're an analyst and you want to help bring hype to a situation, this is what you can do. Now, a play-by-play caster, like myself, is just gonna stream through an action plot. So a team fight's going on and I'm just like, I'm casting everything the same way as I did it with my casting breakdown before. What's going through my mind, and then push it out my mouth, very simply. What the analyst does is add emphasis to certain moments. So this can be done by creating and I don't want to say, it's a word which you will not understand, but I don't want to say gibberish, but it's basically a sound effect. Sound effect is the better word. So you create a sound effect which is able to emphasize the importance of a situation. And this can be something as simple as like something like that. Like, it's something which doesn't have to have a word. It shows that the analyst is actually surprised by something, and this then adds to the whole situation and like the audio that's coming out for it. Now, there's another way you can do it as well. So you have your expressions, expressional sounds, and then you have another one, which is just two words. If you go beyond two words, you're probably going to break the rhythm and the flow that's inside the play-by-play's caster, unless you have that really great sync. So what you need to do is just add two words in. And it can be something, even if it's just like two characters, so you say TP, or you go like from behind, or something like this. Like, this is something which gives context to a situation without it just being just an expression word. And this will help with the play-by-play caster. Try and limit it though to a maximum of two words. When you go beyond that, a play-by-play caster is normally already thinking about what they're going to say before they say it. So everything is a natural flow. So if somebody just jams a thought into the middle of that, then it's going to cause problems. It's like skipping, like on a bike, your chains just fall off and you got to put your chains back on again. This takes time, you lose your rhythm, and then the team fight's probably over by then and you've kind of spoiled the moment. So what you want to do is just add in small little bits that emphasize really important moments, key things, and this will then help your play-by-play caster because it may give them a little bit of direction, but direction they can take or they don't have to take. Because you're not forcing it into the situation, you can emphasize it, and if the play-by-play caster doesn't refer to it, you can refer to it later. So this is the cool shit, once again, that you can do as an analyst, meaning you don't just sit there as a silent party during play-by-play. And there's a lot of those discussions as well, which pops up every now and then. It's just like, man, I really wish the play-by-play caster would stop talking so I can hear interesting things from the analyst. And this is where the analyst kind of syncs with the play-by-play caster. Now, that was the primary thing I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to give you an extra pointer at the end, and it's talking about the dynamics which you can actually create with casters. Now, you've got the standard one, which is play-by-play as well as analyst. Play-by-play caster talks during action, analyst talks when the action is off, and if something gets a little bit dragged out, it's the play-by-play caster who then asks questions of the analyst to bring more interesting information. That's basically it. So you're just poking and prodding for the analyst to say more when it's more of a downtime. The better way, at least in my mind, to do this is by having more of a crossover role. So the play-by-play caster doesn't have to break into analysts. Like, he doesn't have to do that at all. What you actually kind of want to do is bring the analyst closer to the play-by-play. Now, this may seem really, really stupid because what you're wanting is an analyst to analyze things really, really well. But think about your target audience. Are you really actually commentating for the 5% of pro players that are probably tuning in? The answer is no. Your stream is going out to the majority of people that won't be posting on Reddit, that won't actually be saying, I'm wondering how exactly that managed to happen. I want to break down the details of this. They won't normally give a shit. What they want to do is have that type of conversation, the break it down kind of stuff, at the analyst panel. And you as a caster want to leave that for the analyst panel as well, so they have something to talk about without saying, well, Toby said that during the middle of a cast, or Melina or Syndra said this during the middle of a cast. What you want to do is you want to push away from that and make sure that the cast itself, when the game is going on, is all about the entertainment factor, which is when you bring the analyst a little bit closer to your level. And when I say your level as a play-by-play caster, it's making it so that they only talk about things which are very straightforward. They don't you can step into the area of breaking down something really incredible if it's there, but don't spend too long, because it's very difficult to keep the flow of this is what's happening now, this is what's happening in the future. Let's keep focusing on that. And that's where if you have an analytical breakdown in the middle of a cast, you separate this, and then you have to take time to get people back on track, but you've already broken their train of thought. Very similar to what happens when someone jumps in as an analyst and says like an entire sentence during a team fight, and you're like, wait, are you actually play-by-play casting this now, or am I actually doing this, or what's okay, rhythm is broken. So then you got to get your brain back on track, and you can imagine what it's like as a viewer trying to get your brain back on track when you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? At least I know what I'm going to say next. They have no idea, so you have to make it very simple and very smooth throughout the cast, and this is kind of what you want to be able to do. So it's keeping it simple, bringing the analyst closer to you, and then having this bounce off style. So no one would really talk for longer than 15 seconds without involving the other person. This wouldn't happen unless you have that analytical breakdown. Then you know, like warning bells, I'm going too far. So stop it for 15 seconds. If you want a really good version of this, go to the ESL 1 Genting Grand Final Game 1. This is a cast that I did with Capitalist, and it was really good because we were so exhausted by the end of it, but it was about bouncing things back and forward all the time. Cap took the role of the analyst, which is closer to play-by-play, and I took the role of the play-by-play, and we were just bouncing concepts, ideas back and forward, and it was a real-time conversation, not just oh, you can talk now so I can finally have a breather, I'll drink a bottle of water and be back in like a minute. Like, it wasn't that type of cast. So go back and listen to that cast and just see how we bounce the conversation back and forward. This is what you want to try and get to as a casting pair, and work on that synergy as a casting pair. Don't let it be just one person then the other. It's fine to actually say, you know what, I'm going to actually work with one other guy, and this is going to be my primary focus, and we are going to be a great casting duo. But you're only a great casting duo if you work together. If you don't work together, you may as well be two single people that can be just interchanged into any casting pair. So work together, develop your sync, make sure you don't destroy the rhythm of one or the other, make sure the play-by-play caster doesn't over hog the cast, so you give space for your analyst to be involved, and just remember the key thing, really, when it comes to commentary. Commentary is still a conversation, and you don't have a one-sided conversation unless you're having a lecture, and lectures are boring as fuck. Don't be boring as fuck. Hope you enjoyed the tips. Good luck being one of the top casters out there. If you can make it, hopefully these guides will help you along your way.